Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving straight into a really profound theological concept: how absolute justice perfectly balances with profound mercy. Honestly, it's a topic that fundamentally reshapes how we view humanity's past and, more importantly, its future. We're going to take a comprehensive look at what's known as the resurrection of judgment. We'll be exploring the source material to understand exactly how these two essential qualities, justice and mercy, interact to offer some incredible hope. So let's jump right in and look at the foundation of this balance. So right off the bat, Jeremiah 17:10 states, "I, Jehovah, am searching the heart to give to each one according to his ways." This concept offers some serious reassurance when we're thinking about the future. Just think about how justice operates in human society for a second. Human judges, no matter how fair or experienced they are, they can really only weigh surface level evidence, right? They're looking at eyewitness testimony, forensic data, past actions. It's essentially an entirely external audit of a person's life. But based on the scripture, divine judgment is completely different, and it is never arbitrary. The source material highlights that Jehovah performs an internal audit. He uniquely examines a person's innermost thoughts, their motivations, their background, and their true character. This means every single decision made about a person's future is rooted in a perfect, complete understanding of who they truly are on the inside. That comprehensive knowledge is literally the absolute bedrock of divine justice. All right, let's move on to section 1, the resurrection of judgment. So, what exactly is the resurrection of judgment? Well, it's a specific future event outlined by Jesus in John 5:29. And I want you to notice carefully who is explicitly included in this event: those who practiced vile things. Now, that is an incredibly powerful paradigm shift to grasp. I mean, in typical human justice systems, a lifetime of vile practices usually results in a permanently closed case, right? A final, irreversible sentence. But Jesus' own words introduce a completely different framework here. The source material tells us that individuals with dark pasts, people who committed terrible acts, aren't just automatically and permanently erased from existence. Instead, they're brought back, which naturally raises a really compelling question. How does bringing back individuals who practiced vile things align with a God of absolute justice? That brings us to section 2, hope for the past. So, is there real hope for people from the distant past? When we read historical accounts of ancient civilizations that were entirely destroyed, or, when we consider the billions of people who lived thousands of years ago in deep ignorance or deeply flawed cultures, it's so easy to just assume their story is permanently over. History books certainly treat them as closed chapters. But based on the promise of a resurrection and this whole concept of a God who perfectly searches the heart, is the door completely closed for them? Well, let's look at some historical examples of mercy found in the text. Take the days of the prophet Jonah. The Ninevites were absolutely notorious throughout the ancient world for their brutality and wickedness. Like, if any society seemed completely beyond saving, it was the capital of Assyria. Yet, when they were explicitly warned of impending destruction, they actually repented, their hearts changed, and they received immense mercy. And then there's the example of Sodom and Gomorrah. These cities are practically synonymous with utter fiery destruction due to their extreme wickedness. Yet, the source material explores a fascinating parallel here. It suggests there may be genuine hope for people from these cities as well. Just like the Ninevites, who had the capacity to change their ways when confronted with the truth, there's a distinct possibility that some individuals from Sodom and Gomorrah will return in the resurrection. Their destruction in the past doesn't automatically preclude them from a future opportunity. Okay, so this future process actually involves two highly significant steps. First, there's the resurrection itself, literally being brought back to life. But the text makes it really clear that resurrection isn't some magical transformation of character. Actually, scratch that, it's not a transformation at all at first. People will wake up with the exact same mindsets, the same memories, and the same inclinations they had before. And this is where the second, critical step comes in. A massive, global educational work begins. People who lived in total darkness, who practiced vile things simply because that was all they knew or chose in their previous environment, are given the opportunity to be systematically taught about Jehovah and Jesus Christ. It's a period defined not by immediate harsh condemnation the second they wake up, but by profound rehabilitation. The resurrection of judgment really functions as an era of education. It offers the ultimate opportunity for change, illustrating just incredible mercy. Let's look at how this balances out in section 3. Firmness and mercy combined. Now, obviously, this expansive system of future education requires a judge with perfect balance. Firmness is applied when absolutely necessary. Unrepentant wickedness is not ignored. And those who flatly refuse to change their vile practices after being fully educated, well, they'll face definitive justice. However, mercy is extended whenever possible. Remember that internal audit we talked about earlier? Because the judgment is based on examining the innermost thoughts and the true condition of the heart, it knows exactly who will genuinely respond to teaching and who will not. This completely prevents arbitrary decisions. Every single person is handled as a unique individual. When Jehovah gives to each one according to his ways in the future resurrection, it will be governed by this perfect, beautiful balance of necessary firmness and boundless mercy.
Which brings us to our final part, Section 4, a hopeful outlook.
The core takeaway from all this material is brilliantly clear, and it's this. Do not assume a person has no hope of a resurrection. Seriously, unless it is an absolute, undeniable fact based on explicit textual confirmation, we should never write off anyone's future. Whether it's someone from ancient history, like the inhabitants of Sodom and Gomorrah, or someone from our modern times who lived a deeply troubled or dark life, we leave the final judgment to the one who perfectly searches the heart. So as you reflect on the people in your life, and even the infamous figures of the past, ask yourself, how does viewing them through this lens of profound, perfectly balanced mercy change the way you interact with the world today?
For more information, please visit jw.org, and don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and press the bell icon to get the notification for our new video. Thanks!